This video is powered by KR Mangalam University.
As Iran seemingly wins a major battle in the Strait of Hormuz, shocking questions arise about whether the United States is deliberately hiding the real and much higher troop casualty numbers from the American public. U.S. officials are now highlighting mysterious and unexplained reduction in the official number of casualties reported from the recent clashes, sparking widespread suspicion and demands for transparency. Has Trump's administration been caught in a massive cover-up, exposed right amid the Iranian forces' bold capture of two critical ships practically under the watchful eyes of the U.S. Navy? I'm Aisha Varma. Let's take a look. Amid a fragile ceasefire agreement with Iran that hangs by a thread, the United States stands accused of actively covering up the true extent of war casualties to mislead the public and maintain a facade of success. An explosive new report reveals that the Pentagon has been manipulating the official human toll of the war against Iran, deliberately underreporting losses to shape public perception. The U.S. investigative outlet, The Intercept, has just revealed a shocking cover-up in a bombshell report published on April 22nd, as exclusively covered by Press TV. According to the damning report, the Pentagon secretly subtracted 15 wounded in action troops from its official casualty tally, erasing them from the records without explanation. Cover-up claims are now being made by two high-ranking officials who were directly quoted in the Intercept report, lending powerful credibility to the allegations as reported by Press TV. This cover-up was reportedly carried out slyly during the fragile ceasefire that was officially announced on April 7th, right when tensions were supposed to be easing. Initially, the tally of U.S. dead and wounded personnel from the conflict stood at a staggering 428, according to multiple earlier reports that shocked the nation. Just a few days later, the number of wounded in action troops mysteriously dropped to 413, without any public acknowledgement or justification, per the revealing report. The count then held steady at that reduced figure until a public War Department tally suddenly put the grand total even lower at 411, raising even more red flags according to the report. Now, a U.S. official cited in the Intercept report said, and I quote, "These numbers, it is obvious, are important. That they don't want the public to have them says something. That's the definition of a cover-up," unquote. Now, during a high-profile interview on April 21st, U.S. President Donald Trump boldly claimed that exactly 13 male soldiers had died during the intense war against Iran, painting a specific picture of the losses. However, according to the official Defense Casualty Analysis System records that track every detail, 3 of those confirmed dead were actually women, directly contradicting his statement. Significantly, this isn't the first time the U.S. government amid such conflicts has covered up troop casualties to control the narrative, as multiple investigative reports have exposed over the years. During Trump's first term in office, the Pentagon abruptly stopped releasing any information about combat deaths in Afghanistan, leaving the public in the dark about the true cost of the war. This startling revelation came right amid Trump's dramatic ceasefire extension announcement with Iran, which he made just hours before the previous agreement was set to officially expire. On April 22nd, Iran released a video showing its naval forces seizing commercial vessels that it described as linked to Israel, increasing pressure in the Strait of Hormuz. The ships were accused of violating maritime regulations that Iran has imposed around the strait, according to a report by Iran International. The footage was described as the first video of this kind of enforcement operation since the war began on February 28th, giving viewers a rare glimpse of Iran's new blockade-style posture. Iran's semi-official Tasnim news agency reported that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, carried out the operation, underscoring its role in controlling the waterway. Amid the ongoing standoff with the United States, Iran claimed to have seized 2 ships and taken them to its shores, portraying the move as a test of its authority in the region. This marks the first confirmed instance of Iran formally detaining foreign-linked vessels amid its own blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, crossing a threshold in the naval confrontation. The IRGC also issued a strong warning alongside the operation, emphasizing that it will treat any attempt to interfere with its control of the strait as a serious provocation. The IRGC warned that any disruption to order and security in the Strait of Hormuz would cross a red line, indicating that further incidents could trigger a more escalatory response. Reflecting these tensions, Brent crude prices climbed above $100 per barrel for the first time in about 2 weeks, driven by growing concerns over supply disruptions. The rise is being linked to the dual effect of the American blockade on Iranian ports and Iran's parallel efforts to restrict certain shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Major economies are now drawing down strategic reserves and cutting consumption where possible in an attempt to manage the economic impact of the tightening energy squeeze. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps attacked a 3rd ship on April 22nd in the Strait of Hormuz. This is reported by Iranian media, and this comes amid escalating tensions in the strategic waterway. The attacked vessel was identified as the Euphoria, according to multiple media agencies, which all reported the IRGC strike on the ship. Iranian reports said the Euphoria had become stranded on the Iranian coast without elaborating on the exact circumstances or damage. The IRGC also separately attacked and seized two other vessels, the MSC Francesca and the Panaminodes, in the same area. The guards said that the violating ships and the Israeli-linked MSC Francesca had endangered maritime security in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, according to the IRGC, both ships were operating without the necessary permits and had tampered with their navigation systems, which it described as a threat to navigational safety. These incidents came just after Trump, on April 21st, extended the truce with Iran but refused to lift the U.S. blockade around Hormuz, keeping naval pressure in place despite the attacks.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.